Good morning, Matt. How are you?
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing?
Great. Recovering, dude. You?
I'm all right.
Hey, we played a clip. I actually recorded off the TV when I was watching the pregame on Saturday when I forget what happened, but I think it was when players came out or something, and you and Kenny and Kyle were all on at the podium, and you guys basically stopped down the show. You look behind you, and you couldn't hear a word you were saying. You couldn't hear each other. How does that pop compare to other pops you've heard over the years in NBA arenas?
Man, it's crazy. I got a chance to be in Arco during the heyday in the early 2000s while I was in college, and to hear those amazing fans. The Oracle fans, and we had the We Believe team, were amazing, but Saturday could have topped them all. It was deafening in there, and I just absolutely loved it. I mean, I just understand how important this is to the city, how long they've been waiting, how much screaming and yelling they've had pent up, and couldn't wait to let go. So it was just a perfect culmination of all that happening, and the Kings were able to go out there and get an impressive win in the first game.
Matt, on just the atmosphere alone, obviously I don't think that's anything that would faze the Warriors. They've been through so many things, and maybe it's even a motivator. Now, they ultimately didn't win the game, but for a Kings team that's first run at this, what did that, just running out of the tunnel, I mean, as a player, I just can't imagine that lift that gives you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was an energetic moment, probably gave these guys goosebumps. But at the end of the day, the crowd did their job, and the Kings had to come out and do their job. And it was a little back and forth early on, and, some of our main guys didn't really have the best game. But for the team to be able to still pull off a win, you look at Sabonis, and, although he had a nice double-double, 5 for 17, that's very un-Sabonis-like. And then Herter and Keegan not necessarily shooting the ball well, but this team will still being able to pull off a first game win, and the first time in 16 years, I was really impressed because I still think there's room for this team to improve.
Matt Barnes joining us. Matt, I asked this question to Jason earlier. I want to ask you, who do you think played more to their potential, the Warriors or Kings on Saturday?
Like I said, I would honestly say, I still feel like the Warriors could probably play better, but for the most part, Steph was in the 30s, Clay was in the 20s. Draymond was doing Draymond things. Wiggs had his first game back. I think the Warriors, again, they could still probably play better, but I think that was more, what you're going to see from the Warriors. And again, as I pointed out earlier, three of our main guys, normally during the regular season who were, guys that would put numbers on the board, didn't really necessarily have the type of games we're accustomed to them having. Although Fox played out of his mind and Malik Monk was absolutely incredible, outside of that, we didn't really have the punch that we normally have. So that's why, I'm still very encouraged. It's still anybody's series. I heard the odds before game one and after game one, they're still the same, but it's still going to be an uphill battle. You still have to knock the champs off to get past the champs, but they put themselves in a great position. And if they come out and take care of business tonight, to me, it's going to bode well for them.
So, Matt, on those other three starters that you're alluding to that did struggle, and obviously there's a defense out there that's trying to stop them, but what was the biggest factor in the Murray, Herter, and then the Sabonis factor, just not being as efficient as we're used to?
Yeah, we're never accustomed to seeing Sabonis miss that many shots around the basket. He's really efficient when it comes to getting 2 feet in the paint and going strong, but, Looney and Draymond made it difficult for him all night and almost dared him to shoot. And I think that Sabonis was in his head a little bit. I don't expect that to happen tonight. Keegan Murray's first playoff game, after a historical rookie year and being able to knock down the 3-point record. He didn't really have too much rope from what I saw, and you can't blame Mike Brown for that because you have to go with what works in the playoffs. I think Keegan only played about 15 minutes, so hopefully he'll come out and be a little bit more aggressive tonight and understand that, he can do more than shoot threes. He's a guy that can play defense, rebound, get to the basket, and do a lot of different things. And then Herter, Herter just couldn't find the basket. He played 30-plus minutes and got plenty of shots up. It was just one of those nights for him that didn't necessarily go his way. So those three guys I mentioned, not that any of them have to play out of their mind or out of their body, but if they play the way that, they've been playing and get to their averages, obviously that's going to help the Kings.
Matt Barnes with us. You had a lot of people playing in the playoffs for the first time. So I will ask you, without naming names, what is the saying? Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Did the lights hit anyone a little too bright, in your opinion, on Saturday on the Kings?
I don't think so. Like I said, if anybody may have been just a little bit maybe drawn back, it may have been Keegan, and I'm just speculating. Obviously his first playoff game, his rookie year. It may have been a lot. This is obviously the loudest atmosphere he's ever been in, and you're playing the defending champ. So I think from that standpoint, it may have just been kind of just an eye-opening experience. I wouldn't say the lights are too bright, because this kid has been through some stuff this season, and he's one of those guys that I love from a standpoint of you can't tell whether he's having the best game or the worst game, because he's really mild-mannered and even-keeled. So, again, I hope he has someone in his ear, that just tell him, hey, shake this first game off. You have a lot more to offer than just your three-point shot. Don't be, I always tell my kids that I coach, like, if they take the best thing away, if the defense takes away the best thing you can do away, how else can you still impact the game? So I'm hoping someone tells him that, because, again, although he is one of the best shooters, he is someone who can put the ball on the floor, get to the basket, nice soft touch, make plays for others. He's had a good defensive year. I think he's grown on the defensive end, and then he's big out there. He's able to grab, close to double-digit rebounds. So there's other ways for him to be effective if his shot isn't going, but I hope he doesn't get gunshot again, because it was just one game, and I hope he just comes out with that same, gunslinger mentality he's had the whole season.
Matt, the big stage can also bring out the legacies, the biggest stars, and it was De'Aaron's first run at this. He was tremendous after kind of figuring out the physical nature that the game was being played. Then he found his groove, found his spots, made threes, got to the hoop. I don't know. I've felt all along he was made for this. What did you think of De'Aaron in game one, and what we should expect for the rest of the series?
I think the switch came on in the third quarter. I think he went baseline and hit a jumper, I think, on DiVincenzo, and I saw him kind of talking, and I was just like, uh-oh, here he comes. Like, this is, only 9 points in the first half, and then 29 in the second was incredible. But I think early in that third quarter, the light switch came on, and he just, realized that, hey, there's still no one out there who can guard me. I don't care who's playing, what team, what defensive. There's no one in the world that can guard me, and I need to get to my spot. And when he starts scoring, it also helps his ability to make plays, because then the defense is keen on him more, and guys are open, and he'll find the open guy. So this is a huge first game for De'Aaron. I think that the second highest output in a first playoff game behind Luka. So De'Aaron was incredible. Look for him to come out and do more of the same. I don't know if we're going to get 38 or 40, but he'll definitely be, I think, in that range, because he's capable of it. And again, you think, hopefully guys will follow along. Malik Monk was incredible. Two guys that I don't think get enough talking about that had huge games. One was Trey Lyles, came in, set the tone early, knocked down some shots, hit the offensive glass hard, played some tough defense. And then Alex Lynn, Mike Brown's been giving Alex a little bit more run to kind of figure out, because that's been, I think, the Kings' deficiency all season, was the backup center, someone who could protect the rim. And although his numbers didn't jump off the page, he had a few huge blocks, a couple nice dunks, shot decision making by some guys. Golden State guys were getting in the paint, and just really played really hard. And I think his 12 or 13 minutes. So those are two guys that really, like I said, Trey had 16, but Alex Lynn's numbers weren't, blowing you off the page, but he had a huge impact in his limited minutes last game.
Couldn't agree with you more. Matt Barnes joins us. Last thing. With everything else going on, no one's going to talk about this, but I want to point it out, Matt. I thought the coolest part of the pregame was when you guys got to sit down with Kenyon and Chris Murray. And, in this day and age, and we've had them in this town, and you see them all over the place. You have the, AAU dads, the super hardcore ones. We had a dad in town from a player I won't name that made a lot of noise. And at one point, Kenyon Murray said something about, it's not about me. I turned my guys over to the coach, whenever a freshman year or whatever it was. It's not about me. I'm dad off the court, but at the end of everything he said hit a lot of notes. And Matt, I could tell watching you, because of how close you are with your boys and being involved in basketball and all that. And every parent kind of struggles with that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought that really hit home with you more than anyone.
Absolutely. I mean, especially being a dad of identical twins. When Chris was up there and I was looking, I was like, damn, is that Keegan? Is that, first of all, they share the exact same face. And then, as I said to the dad, I hope I'm sitting in your chair, 5 or 6 years, because, to understand that, although we do our best to help them get there, once they're there, it's the lights on them. And I think the way that, Pops was handling the situation, understanding it's all about his sons right now was refreshing, because you look at a situation like a LeVar Ball, who I give all the respect in the world for helping his kids get there. But once they got there, I felt like LeVar kind of lost himself. He made it about him. And, Pops just kind of plays the background, let Chris answer most of the questions. And I had questions for the dad again, because I am a coach of identical twins and my boys are in 8th grade and they're starting to get a little bit better. So just kind of seeing how he did it, I asked that last question, like, hey, when did you let, your hands off the boys? And he said, after high school. And that was kind of my plan. I want to coach my kids through AAU. And then, after that, they're on their own. So it was really, kind of a note session for me. And I was taking mental notes and really just appreciated his demeanor and the way he carried himself, understanding that, hey, I had an integral part of my boys getting here, but it's all about them now. And I really have a lot of respect for their dad for his, kind of his approach on that.
I want to remind you all, hit up Showtime, hit up YouTube, wherever it's available, All the Smoke. It was, from all accounts, a wonderful, wonderful visit between Stack and Matt and Jason Williams, and everybody had a wonderful time there yesterday. Nobody's working harder right now than Matt Barnes, including tonight. We really appreciate you joining us, fam. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, fellas. See you guys tonight.
All right,
thank you.
That is Matt Barnes, way late for a break. When we come back, I think I just saw him in the background.
Frankie!
Playoff Frankie here. We'll talk to him next.